Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. What Paris Saint-Germain will absolutely demolish Real Sociedad at the Parc De Princes. Obviously, both teams coming into this game, they've played a lot of games in the month of January and a bit of February. Paris Saint-Germain with 8 games, having 7 wins and only 1 draw, scoring 27 goals and only conceding 6, which is a goal difference of 21 goals. While Sociedad, on the other hand, has played 10 games, 2 defeats, 4 draws and only 4 victories, scoring a meager 8 goals and conceding 5 goals, which is a goal difference of 3. So form-wise, PSG are much better than Sociedad. Even the so-called defensive Sociedad have only conceded 1 less goal than Paris Saint-Germain. One thing I always hear, and I myself have said, is Real Sociedad have only conceded 2 goals in the Champions League, which is the least amount for any single club in the Champions League. But let me expose that stat. When it comes to XG, they have not faced a difficult group. Benfica sit 22nd when it comes to XG, ranked from all the 32 teams in the Champions League this season. RB Salzburg 25th, and Inter Milan obviously 4th. But as we know, Inter Milan, they play in a different variety of styles. If you play defensive against them, they're going to play defensive against you. If you play offensive against them, they're going to play offensive than you. So that's the reason they've only conceded 2 goals. It's because Benfica and Salzburg offensively are disgustingly bad this season, and Inter Milan, as I said, if you want to play defensive, they play defensive against you as well. And all of these 3 fixtures have only faced 0.6 xJG, which is expected goals allowed. But when you take a look at, the tough teams, the offensive tough teams that face in La Liga, it's a much different story. Atletico Madrid, they face 2.2, Real Madrid 2, and Atletico Bilbao 1.8. What this tells you is that Real Sociedad's stat in the Champions League is more because of how weak their group are rather than how good they are defensively. Because conceding 2.2 xGA is really bad. It's really bad. And it's not only those teams. They've also had 2.2 versus Villarreal. They've also had 1.9 versus Mallorca and 1.6 versus Atletico Bilbao. The only reason Real Sociedad is this defensive powerhouse is because they haven't faced that great teams in the Champions League. But in La Liga, where they have faced, they're sitting 7th in the league and have conceded a lot of goals and a lot of chances against the big teams. And they haven't faced Paris Saint-Germain, the best pretty much offensive team in the world at the moment. So just imagine how many chances we're going to create against this bum-ass Sociedad side. Secondly, we obviously have to talk about Real Sociedad being disgustingly bad offensively. They've only scored 7 goals in the Champions League this season from 6 games, which is absolutely terrible. And they've had a shit group, as I mentioned before. Benfica is ranked as 32nd, the absolute worst team offensively in the Champions League this season. Red Bull Salzburg 25th, and Inter Milan keep their 4th place. What this tells you is that they've only managed to score 7 goals against teams that are horrible defensively. I think Benfica conceded 15 xGA in only 6 games, and Sociedad couldn't muster anything against them. They had 1 xG against Inter Milan, averaged in both legs. They had 1.2 against Salzburg and 2.1 against Benfica. And when you look at their entire stats for the season, they've had an expected goals of 1.26 and 1.3 goals per game, comparable to Paris Saint-Germain, who have had 2.13 xG per game and 2.51 goals per game. Defensively, I don't think there's that big of a difference between PSG and Sociedad. I really don't. They've just had a weak group. Whilst Paris Saint-Germain offensively are pretty much double the amount better than Real Sociedad in Champions League and in La Liga. Now that we've gone through the nerdy stats, why Paris Saint-Germain just are a much better side form-wise in 2024 and just in general this entire season. Our defense is extremely comparable, but offensively we are much better than Real Sociedad. And before I go into humbling the Sociedad side, let me show you these clips of disgusting predictions.
I have Real Sociedad advancing in this matchup as long as the refs don't help PSG.
That's why I think this is more tilting in the direction. I'll go 60% Real Sociedad, 40% PSG for me.
This will be my upset for the round of 16. I think Real Sociedad has what it takes to shock PSG, and we'll be getting a repeat of some of Macwell's best videos. First leg finishes 0-0, and in the second, Real Sociedad grab a 2-1 victory to secure a quarterfinal spot.
So you know what? Screw it. I'm backing Real Sociedad. Why not? Who cares about predictions anyway?
But now with Neymar not being with the French club anymore and PSG being prone to choking, I think I might have my first upset right now. And in fact, I'm gonna say that in total for both of the legs, Real Sociedad will beat PSG 3-2 and make it to the quarterfinals.
It's obviously an agenda. It's obviously that PSG is a hated club. I mean, most of them were laughing when they made this prediction. Why? Because they probably know it's not going to happen. But because they hate PSG so much, because they are Barca fans and Real fans and all of that, they're never going to predict Paris Saint-Germain to go through. It's absolutely embarrassing that in 2024, we have people who have YouTube channels with over 50k subscribers, over 100k subscribers, laughing about Paris Saint-Germain and saying, oh my God, they are a buddling institution. And saying stuff like Neymar and Messi have gone now, this is bad for PSG. No, Neymar was injured the last knockout stages and PSG dropped 0 goals and 0 assists. They were holding us back. But back to Paris Saint-Germain. PSG have, for me, been clearly the best team in the world. I mean, you can put them at least top 3 in the world alongside City and Real Madrid. So the confidence I have going into this Real Sociedad game has never been higher. This is a weak team comparable to us. Well, and they haven't really faced a team like PSG. Sure, they've faced tough teams both in the Champions League, in Inter Milan, and in La Liga. But they haven't faced Paris Saint-Germain. They haven't faced a team that will at least create 4 big chances. And we're playing at the Parc De Princes as well. I don't think anybody's ready what we will do to this Real Sociedad side. This defense gimmick of Sociedad will be completely disproven. I saw Nice, this crazy defensive side in Ligue 1, get humbled by PSG. I saw Brest not conceding that many goals in their last 4 games, get humbled by PSG. I saw Lille coming into last game, not conceding a single goal in 2024, and then conceding 3 goals to Paris Saint-Germain's B team without Kylian Mbappé. When I'm telling you that we're going to thrash the Sociedad side, I'm telling you that. We're going to create so many chances. And if we're extremely clinical, we could score 6-7 goals. This is not a matter of this is going to be a tough tie. No, it's going to be a matter of how many goals are Paris Saint-Germain going to score. The prediction of 0-0 or a draw at the Parc. People believing that Sociedad will come to the Parc and defend well enough for us to not score is absolutely stupid. It just tells you the pure agenda in their brain. But I'm confident because my players will prove on Wednesday night, on Valentine's Day, that we are the superior club versus Sociedad and versus the world. And with Kylian Mbappé being in super form, oh, I can't wait to see what Mbappé will do to this team. Obviously, I've been very critical of Mbappé this season in the Champions League, but his first 4 games and pretty much the majority of that Newcastle game, he played out wide. But in the last 30 minutes of that Newcastle tie and the entire Dortmund game where he played as a 9, he was spectacular. He was spectacular. In the Newcastle game, how many chances he created, how many shots he had, and same in the Dortmund game. And as I said in a previous video, this game should be 18 plus to watch because what we're going to do to Sociedad will be remembered in history. That's been it from your boy PSG. Have confidence. We're going to destroy Sociedad, and hopefully I've proven to every single hater that this PSG side is not to mess around with. And this Sociedad side has only been overrated by PSG haters. That's been it from your boy PSG. And as always, allez, Paris.